Pacific time here in Los Angeles. Joel Friday TV. Hey, I think we're going live now. Joel Friday TV coming up next, guys. After Hake. He's live Monday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 12 noon Pacific time. And American Anchor Baby after that. Let me just make sure that I hear some, that I do hear my stream. Bum, 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 bum. Pardon the complicated business, folks. I just like to confirm that I am hearing it. Bum, bum, bum. I like to make sure. Yes. Okay. Good morning, guys. It's 9:01 a.m. U.S. Pacific Standard Time here in Los Angeles. American Anchor Baby is happening after Joel Friday TV, who is happening after Hake Report. Thank you to Jesse Lee Peterson. I'm on his network. We're on his network. Gonna have a loosey-goosey show. It's Wednesday, February 28th. Normally the last day of the month, but tomorrow is gonna be the last day of the month. AD 2024, a leap year. Does that mean it's Olympics year? I remember when the Olympics was something real, and now it's fake. Or was it always fake? Was it always fake? And now it's faker than ever. What do I mean by fake? Call in and ask me. Ask Hake. Hake knows fake. What will we cover, though? This Kansas City woman police chief, Ann Coulter, posted about it the other week. Remember that shooting after the Super Bowl? The Negro crime rate per 1958 Time magazine. Is this real? I'm going to share a little bit about it with you guys. I did get bashed. I put out a clip yesterday after getting trolled, harassed by anti-vaxxers. I disavow anti-vaxxers for the sake of my channel, but I am anti-vaxxer friendly, just as I am flat earther friendly. Right? And we're also pro-vax friendly and ball-tard friendly. We love everybody if we love anybody. So I'll talk a little bit about that because I was speaking nicely, yet fairly. I was too fair, too manly. Hey, don't flatter yourself. It was speaking too manlyish, about a woman who got allegedly Shmaxine injured. And they pretended like I was mocking the injured. Give me a break. I'm mocking the simps who are pretending like she's still beautiful after her appearance has declined and how her health has declined. And it may or may not be from the vax. I have no idea. Women do lie on the internet and in real life. And so do men. Most men and all women are liars. So I'll cover that. And take your calls, guys, if you'd like to call in. There were some super chats that came in and some beautiful music. Starflyer 59, Work Hard Wednesday. And of course, Stephen Wiley Wednesday. It's Black History Month. But anyway, guys, let's get right on with the show!
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La, la, la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La, la, la.
Hey, guys!
Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La, la, la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La, la, la.
So, how you guys doing? I am fine. I am wearing a JLP-related t-shirt designed by the American Anchor Baby himself. All thoughts are all lies all the time. All the time. Thoughts are lies. I'm putting it backwards. Are lies. All thought. The all time. That's. And it has JLP thinking. Nice. Right on. The theme song is trash, says Orbit 9. Well, stay tuned for Friday, Orbit 9. Thank you for joining me. Enough said. I'm convinced now, says Chase in Tejas. Awesome shirt, says Dawn. Thank you. Rebuildingtheman.com/stores is how you can find it. It is on the Society 6 Jesse Lee Peterson store. Society 6, okay? And I got this in large. Normally I get size medium, but maybe I need to become a man and get a large and maybe grow into it. Grow into it. And this is I got a blue one in this time because I had a sort of greenish one and it was a touch tight. And so it was like, fit almost like it was inside of the end of my shoulder, the seam, the sleeve seam. And I did not really like that. Hake finally bought a shirt that fits him, says Ned. Yeah, indeed I did. By the way, I am streaming on Rumble. And by the way, shout out to Tennessee, people watching me on X. Shout out to Morgan72712. Went to the Capitol Conference there last night in Tennessee. Amazing. Cool. Let me screenshot that. That's cool. I wear a medium too, Hake. Me at 12 years old, says Kevin Howe, who says that Hake has the body of a 12-year-old. Kevin Howe got me. It doesn't matter how much of a nagger and a Ukraine simp that he is. A useful idiot of globo homo. And we are all useful idiots because we all have that anger, evil, possessing us, turning us dumb liberals, emotional, devils fighting. It's no wonder the right wing loses. That's why all thoughts are all lies all the time. But yes, so this is the one that's oftentimes, if you get the 100% cotton that's supposedly like a fitted tee, I'd encourage you to consider going a size up from what you normally do. Because oftentimes with the tri-blend, the medium's just perfect. It just never had a problem with the tri-blend fit, except I don't like that it's not 100% cotton. This one's 100% cotton. Lin Yun Shin wears medium shirts too, and he's basically Black Asian Bruce Lee. Only stronger and alive. So, nice. Pro tip for the t-shirts. I'm going to have to just get some size, move on to size large. Hake means youth medium. Okay, moving on, guys. I want to get to some calls, or at least one. You can call in 1-888-775-3773. Joe in Phoenix, Arizona. How you doing, Joe? Appreciate you calling.
Good morning, Hake.
Morning.
See if we can get along better today.
Okay.
Now, we've talked before in the past about Confederate monuments, yeah?
Yeah.
And I gave you an example of trying to get you to see an alternate point of view, and you rejected my Lord Cornwallis monument argument, right?
Yeah, because Lord Cornwallis is not an American, but we swallowed up the Confederacy.
Okay, so let's talk about an American. I know you don't know history, but I'm sure you've heard of Benedict Arnold, right?
I have heard of that name, yeah, and I heard that he was like a traitor or something.
He was. But before he was a traitor, he was actually an outstanding, and I mean outstanding, officer in the Continental Army fighting against England.
Fighting against who? England. Okay.
Yeah.
During the American Revolution, is that correct?
That's correct. And actually, he won a very significant battle. Some historians say it was a critical battle, the Battle of Saratoga in New York.
Yeah.
Because he was a colonel. So he was a high-ranking officer before he went to the British. But anyway, he won a very important battle, and there's a monument at Saratoga now. It's interesting. It's a monument with a boot on it because that battle. Say again?
To him, a monument to him.
No.
Oh, okay.
It's a monument because in that battle, Arnold got his horse shot out from under him, and the horse fell on his leg and broke his leg.
Okay.
So there's a monument of a boot there. to commemorate that battle. And the monument says, to an outstanding soldier in this critical in this critical battle
Yeah.
Of the Revolutionary War, but it does not mention his name.
Yeah. But it's everybody, people who know it's him.
Historians know, yeah, but the average person who would have no clue.
Yeah.
Whose boot that is.
Yeah.
Now, when the guy who did the monument was asked about that, he said, "Listen, I wanted to honor the battle because it was so important, but I did not want to honor the man who, because when he was passed over for promotion, Arnold went over to the British, and in doing so, he tried to hand over West Point to the British. I'm sure you've heard of West Point, yeah?
Yeah, West Point is that college where people go military school type stuff.
Correct.
So Benedict Arnold tried to surrender that to the British?
Correct, but his plan got discovered before he could do so. And that's when he fled to the British and fought, and then returned to fight against Americans, to keep Americans in slavery.
I wonder what the real story is on him. Continue.
Well, the real story is he was very clear about, listen, he was passed over for promotion, even though he had a lot of wins in battles and was a long-serving guy, and he was very disgruntled and angry about being passed over, so he said, screw this, I'm out of here.
Sorry, kids.
Sorry, kid. His wife was already British to begin with. So, yeah.
You shall not marry women of other nations and follow after their gods. That's a God in the Bible told the Israelites, something like that.
So anyway, I hope you can see the parallel between him not wanting to honor Arnold and black people like myself not wanting to honor the Confederacy. I
do not quite see that parallel. I encourage blacks to get over the slavery thing because it wasn't personal and it wasn't racial. It turned.
We disagree on that.
It turned into like a racial distraction, of course, because Satan plays on the mind of both the whites and the blacks, and the devil tempts you to take extra umbrage over a perceived attack upon your quote unquote community or your quote unquote people. And knowing the old school Americans who knew that to be a temptation, that was why they were doing the segregation thing in part. That was a big part of why there was a segregation.
That's how you want to see it. That's fine.
I mean, it's isn't it true that when you have a differing opinion with a member of your family, that's bad enough. But then you have a differing opinion with somebody who looks different, you're gonna start attacking each other based, quote unquote, based on each other's looks and say, oh, you're just treating me this way because I'm black, or you're just treating me this way because I'm white. So that's a temptation from the imagination and an added suspicion. It breeds division. And the communists know that.
I think it's possible for the simple-minded, James, but slavery was far more than just difference of opinion. But anyway.
At the bottom of it, it was a business. It was business.
Oh, we agree on that. It was all about economy, absolutely.
Yeah, so it wasn't an attack on the blacks. It was. Some people argued that it was worse for the whites than it was for the blacks.
No, we disagree on that.
In certain ways.
I don't think there would be any substantive evidence for that. But you can believe what you want.
As a result of slavery, blacks being in America, are they better off being in America than they would be in Africa? I know it's a theoretical, and you can just go into your imagination, but they're doing okay in America.
James, you do realize that there were free blacks from day one here in America.
Yeah, they were slave owners themselves, but they were doing okay in America.
My point is that they didn't have to be slaves to come to America to be free and do well here.
But they were brought over here free of charge. They didn't have to go through the pain of
free of charge.
they didn't have to go through the pain of immigration and all that stuff.
You're hysterical. Anyway,
so my point is, to get back to your question, no, love the Southerners. The Southerners did not hate the blacks. The people who defended slavery did not necessarily hate the blacks, and it was not based on.
They didn't have to hate the blacks, James, to defend or promote a system that benefited them and marginalized and destroyed an entire group of people.
Slavery is not necessarily destructive, though. There is
I'm not gonna agree on that.
I know, but there's a right and a wrong way to do something. So slavery can be done in a right way, where you're enslaved, but you're treated fairly, and then after such and such amount of time, you can purchase your freedom or whatever. Maybe 7 years, we do the Jubilee thing, kind of like biblical tradition, 7-year Jubilee. Some people I get that were lifelong enslaved, and I'm not sure about that. I don't really have a big opinion because I wasn't there. I don't know the situation. I haven't really looked into it.
That Benjamin Franklin was actually an indentured servant for a period of time also.
Nice. That's why he was a man of. That's why he was a man of character. I chuckle as I say that because people pretend like he was this perverted person like people are today, and maybe he was, but I don't know.
There's some evidence for that.
But he was somewhat. Didn't he have like a book of practicing things to instill discipline in himself?
Poor Richard's Almanac, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm actually a Franklin fan. The guy was fascinating and led a fascinating life. But like all people, there are pros and cons to the guy. But my point of bringing up his indentured servitude is that he fought every day of his life to escape that. People don't want to be slaves, James. And
I get that. Of course.
Indentured servitude is basically half a step up from slavery. I mean, at least you were considered a human being, but still, you were basically in slavery.
A slave is still considered a human being. I don't know where you guys get this emotional, like it has nothing to do with anything type of thing. People knew that the blacks were human beings.
No, they did not. Legally, they were not human.
Then why did they speak English to them? How can you speak English to somebody who's not even a human being, and they speak English back to you?
If you don't have basic human rights, you're not considered a human being, James.
No.
Slaves had no rights at all.
Human rights is a fake idea. What do you mean, human rights?
They had zero agency, zero control over their lives. Literally, they could be bought and sold like chattel.
Right.
That is not a human being.
That's a human being. That's a human being who lacks freedom.
To be owned.
That's a human being who lacks freedom. Anyway, the Old Testament and the New Testament.
At any moment.
What?
Your life could be taken away from you at any moment, and it would be totally legal. That's not having a human life, James. That is being a piece of property.
I don't know how true that is and how much that happened. As I said, there were good and evil slave owners.
If it happened once, it was too many times. But listen,
there's always been murder.
I think there's legally, I said.
How about legal murder of children today? That's happening way more commonly than the slavery.
I'm not trying to change the subject.
No, I'm not changing the subject. You're calling out something that's evil, that was supposedly evil back then, and ignoring the evil of today that Obama supported and stuff like that. Not to get off track, but
bring Obama into it.
Because Obama is an obvious evil person, and you don't seem to know that. You think I just hate him because he's black. But they even talk about in the Bible, they even talk about the right and wrong way to punish your slaves and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah,
there were slaves in Africa. 100%. They were sold into slavery.
Slavery anywhere is evil and bad things, James.
Not always.
Always.
Why you're a Gen Xer, right?
Barely, yeah.
Yeah, you're almost a boomer, maybe Gen X or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was taught in school, and it's also common sense to know that there were good and bad slave owners. Some who treated them just sense.
matters. You're talking about levels of degree of good and bad within a whole system that was evil to begin with.
The world is evil.
Does not matter. And going back to Obama, James, if there was a president who cut the deficit 75%, cut unemployment in half, had record funding for the VA, had record stock market performance, and he was a white Republican, you would be singing his praises every day.
No, because I'm not into any of those things that you rattled off.
Those are all impressive, very impressive achievements that he did. That was losing 400,000 jobs every single month.
But you talk out of both sides of your mouth.
What are you talking about?
Because you said that the Fed controls the economy, not the president. Didn't you?
The Fed controls the economy, yes.
Right. So,
but the things I rattled off, those are things that are affected by the presidency, especially the deficit.
Whatever.
Just facts and reality, James.
No, it's not reality, man. It's selective facts to just kiss up to. Do you like Obama because he's mixed?
I like Obama because he cut the deficit by 75%, cut unemployment in half, record stock market performance, all the things I just named. Those are impressive feats.
So So he was an immoral person who divided the country, and you just want to ignore that stuff.
That's nonsense. I like Bush too, and he's a white guy, so I think Bush did a good job under very difficult circumstances too.
So you're an establishment guy, not a think for yourself guy, not an independent thinker.
I am a guy who goes on what they actually achieved, not skin color or any other nonsense.
Yeah, right.
Exactly. Now, I know I've been on a while, so I don't want to take up too much time, but I do want to say, did you see that? I was telling you before that I don't think Trump's trials are going to happen before the election. Two will definitely not. The one in Georgia and the Mar-a-Lago case by Jack Smith. Those two have been delayed so much they probably won't even start until late in the year. However, the one in New York, the Alvin Bragg one, could, and they've already scheduled the election interference with Jack Smith. They scheduled that one to begin in late March. So that's going to be really interesting to see what happens there.
Huh? Well, good luck with that.
I'm not involved, so I don't need luck. I'm just watching.
Yeah, you seem far more interested in these phony things than I am.
Oh, phony. We'll see.
Yeah, because you have all this phony interest in Obama's supposed accomplishments, and all this phony interest in Trump's supposed crimes.
James, you know what? I mean, you can live in fantasy world all you want to, but facts actually matter.
No, the truth matters, man. You have only your cherry-picked facts in order to deceive people. Sucker.
I think that's your whole MO, James.
What's my whole MO? What's my whole MO?
You cherry-pick things, and you leave things out, and you want to push a narrative, and that's your whole thing. I
push big picture truth, man. Big picture truth. We want a united country. We don't want to appease black false anger over slavery and hating whites and imaginary racism. Big picture truth. Obama was the worst president that we've had in my lifetime. Very destructive, very lying, and very bad on the economy. He was destroying the economy in a whole lot of ways. Obamacare and all that stuff. And then Trump, our best president, and you want to pretend like he's this criminal.
You make these pronouncements, but you have no facts to back it up. You want
because I have the truth. It's obvious truth to anybody with sight.
Okay, James. Obama.
You are a blind person.
An economy losing 400,000 jobs a month. 8 years later, he can't.
Blah blah blah. He was on the same side.
300,000 jobs a month.
Blah blah blah.
How is that ruining the economy?
That's not his credit.
You don't want facts. You don't want facts. You don't want evidence.
Because those aren't actual. That's not the truth.
Because he's black, and that is it.
See, now you're just making up stuff. You have no facts to back up the notion that I hate Trump, Obama, because he's black.
That you couldn't even dispute.
Because I don't care about those piddly facts. Everybody knew that the economy was bad under Obama. It was the worst recovery from a recession perhaps ever, or something like that.
61 straight months of economic
Blah, blah,
growth.
blah. It has nothing
That's
to do with
reality.
anything. He's part of the
That's
same. He's part
reality.
of the same crew as George W. Bush, who was
Funny,
cozying
I
up
don't
to
hear
Big
you-
Mama Michelle like she was his grandma.
Okay.
You're
Well,
phony.
James,
You
again,
fall for
if
the
you wanna
phony
believe it-
politicians like Obama,
You want to believe in
like
your
George
fairy
W.
tale,
Bush.
Go ahead.
You fall for the phony politicians, and then you hate the one true man, Donald J. Trump,
You never
who's
once
solid.
heard me say I hate Trump.
Yes, you do hate Trump.
Never
s-
once have you heard me say I hate
If
Trump.
you falsely
I
accuse
just
him
wanna
of
see him
crimes, is that love?
falsely accused. That's what the whole legal system is about.
You're falsely accusing him of
They
crimes.
have to prove. They have to prove it, James. They have to prove it.
And you think he was not a good president. He was a uniter.
He was a horrible president.
See? Hater.
Didn't build the walls. Didn't cut
Yes, he
taxes
did.
for the vast majority of people.
You didn't have to.
Did not repeal and replace the ACA.
He tried to, but John McCain, the rhino, hated him. Did you condemn John McCain for being a turncoat over that?
I have problems with McCain that predates.
Did you
him running
condemn?
for
Did you condemn
president.
McCain for backstabbing Trump?
No, not at all.
Then your phony complaint about repeal and replace Obamacare is a fake complaint. You didn't even believe in repealing Obamacare.
James.
See, exposed.
Okay. Okay.
Go ahead.
McCain did what he did because he's a politician too.
Yeah, a phony.
Well, I really, really do not.
A
like McCain
resentful,
for
hate-filled
personal
phony
reasons.
who hates Trump and Trump supporters.
Well, again,
Well, I mean, he's dead. Rest in peace.
With McCain
Although I
before
kinda doubt
that,
it.
and I had a big problem with McCain, so it's hard for me to be objective there.
Yeah, because he's a rhino from Arizona. All you guys elect are rhinos and Democrats. Shame
No,
on you.
again,
Shame on you.
I worked with him on some committees, and
Yeah.
he was not a good person, in my opinion.
I knew it.
That's just my experience with McCain. that's
Not
all.
surprised to hear it.
But that's just my opinion of the guy.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean I'm right. But we'll see. I mean, again, James, either you believe in the legal system with Trump. And
I do not believe in the legal system. The legal system
That's
is...
very un-American of you.
No, it's not. It's quite American.
Either we have laws, a world of laws, or we don't.
Right. And we don't enforce our laws evenly. We selectively enforce we being the American system, selectively enforces the laws against Trump and his supporters and the whites.
Well, you feel under attack, don't you?
I don't feel under attack. I said the whites. I'm not under legal trouble yet. You want me to be, because you hate
But
the
you're-
whites.
But you're part of the whites, right?
No,
You're not.
no,
Interesting. Okay.
yeah.
And
But do the whites
know,
do the whites have the rights?
do the whites have the rights? Everyone has the rights here in America.
Not
yeah.
really. Not in
Oh,
America
really?
today. Under Joe from Phoenix, Arizona's America. You communist, because you support the destruction
I
of the
love
freedom of the
when you
white
call-
speech.
I love when you call me names, James. I really do. I think
But-
it's hysterical.
Well, because you're a communist. You fall for
Oh.
the racism lie, the slavery lie, victimhood stuff, the condemning of the beautiful South, the beautiful Confederate people who are your brothers, and
James, I bring facts and evidence. You want to call me names, and that's okay.
but you don't
No,
bring
this is-
you don't bring pertinent facts and pertinent evidence.
According to me,
You bring
and
distracting facts and distracting
okay.
evidence to deceive intellectuals, fellow intellectuals who are not intelligent.
intellectuals. There's
Yeah.
a guy who doesn't even believe in college and went to Azusa Pacific.
I believe in.
right?
I don't. You shouldn't believe in college. You should.
James.
You should go to college if you see value in it. But if you don't see value in it, you shouldn't just blindly go to college.
Yeah, until you need a doctor or something, right? And then you're all for it.
Do you know that there's sometimes value in college, but not always?
Of course, it depends on what you study.
Exactly. That's my point.
So we agree.
Yeah. So then
Good. So we found
you're
some
condemning me.
common ground. Good.
Yeah, but common ground with the truth, not with your distracting lies, pretending that college is this great thing when it's a communist indoctrination.
We disagree on that. Well, what was your major again? I'm curious.
Art with an emphasis in graphic design.
How could you study art and not understand history better?
Because I didn't do fine art, I wanted to emphasize graphic design. That way I didn't have to study so much art history. I didn't have to write, and I didn't have to end up teaching. I could just design CD covers.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, I've been on a long time, so I'll let you go.
All right.
You have a good day, James.
You as well.
Bye.
Bye. Creepy Joe. Nah. No, yeah. Sleepy Joe. We'll call him Sleepy Joe, and Crooked Joe Biden, Crooked Joe. Manuel in California is on the line. What's up, Manuel? How you doing?
Good, you? Or well, sorry.
Doing fine, thank you.
Man, that Joe, he's something else.
Yeah.
When he was talking about how Obama was the best or did the best for the economy and all that, like, it's so crazy. Like, the numbers are out there. All you have to do is go look at the stock market. He was in office for 8 years, and he raised the market by 40 to 45% from 8 years of being in office. And it took him 6 years just to break 20%. You go to Trump, in 4 years, he doubled the market, 100% profit on the market. He went from 16,000 to 32,000 on the Dow. And you go and look at Obama, it went from 12 to 18. It's about 50%, but it's nothing close.
I remember they were fiddling with cooking the books, or I remember hearing, because I don't understand a lot of this stuff, and I don't pay that much attention because, I have my job. But they were kind of cooking the books with regard to the unemployment numbers. They stopped counting people who just dropped out of the quit looking for a job as among the unemployed. And then they added like part-time jobs and stuff. A whole lot of people who were working full-time had to downgrade to part-time under Obamacare because Obama doesn't care because the socialist health insurance scam imposed by Obamacare was making it, they were trying to force employers to cover the so-called health insurance, medical insurance for employees who were working full-time. So all kinds of stuff was going on.
Yeah, well, inflation too, like the price of fuel was like over $3 all the way up to $4 something back when Obama was in office. So
yeah, it was like below $2 before him, right?
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I remember, well, anyway.
What good does the stock market do people?
Well, it just kind of shows you what your money's valued at. Like, money's not real if you
right.
really break it down. Debt is where the money's at. But anyways, you have buying power when the market's good. Well, like when inflation's high, you have less buying power. Like, it takes you, like when Obama or Trump was in office, it would take you $2 to get a gallon, where Obama was in office, it took you $4 to $5. Same as it is now.
Yeah.
So
I'm seeing $5, $6, $7 a gallon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. So like you have less buying power, so then the economy isn't doing good. Yeah, maybe the numbers look decent, but the numbers aren't there.
Obama was pushing. One of the first things he did, he pushed the Lilly Ledbetter thing about some anti-discrimination law for women, so-called working, because they're trying to get this phony thing like equal pay for equal work, as though women do the same work that men do, which is not true.
Right. They don't.
Yeah.
I work with a couple welders, and it's like a complete waste of time. I would like literally walk off job sites if they put me with them because I got to do more of the work.
Yeah.
They're not going to be able to come even close to doing what a man can do.
Yeah.
You can try, like, that's fine, but don't expect to be like patted on your back for someone else helping you do a job. Like, I would have to run jobs on my own, and they bring a woman on. It's like, okay, why do I got to watch her? She should be able to do it herself, right?
I think he
It's
was.
never going to work.
Was
that way.
Obama pushing girls in the wrong bathrooms in schools too? Like the transgender stuff in schools and prisons, making the
I'm not-
taxpayers pay for transgender reassignment surgery in prisons and military and stuff. He repealed
not
Don't
too
Ask,
sure.
Don't Tell and brought in Ask, Tell, and Be Proud in the military. So sick.
Right. I'm not too sure. I was kind of like around that time. I was working a lot. I was traveling, and
Yeah.
I never really paid attention to politics then. But now, I'm starting to pay attention to it because I see like, wow, I was blind to all this. I could have been helping or fighting against all this.
One of the first things Obama did was fund abortions with the Mexico City policy, fund abortions overseas or out of the country.
Wow.
And Joe from Phoenix will call in, and he calls in sometimes when I cite that fact and say, it wasn't just abortions, it was other medical stuff too. Why are we funding any medical stuff overseas? We shouldn't be doing that.
Right.
Globalist socialism.
Yeah.
And then he said, oh, if my daughters make a mistake, I don't want them punished with a baby. Make a mistake. He was for age appropriate, so-called age appropriate, which is a communist buzzword, weasel word, sex education, meaning push the LGBTIQ and sex out of wedlock on children. What a dirty person, sick person.
Yeah.
A whole lot of that stuff accelerated. It was a long time coming. It's not just him. The culture is corrupt, and the culture of especially dumb young people were all for the stuff that Obama was about. So it's not just one man, but he was an example of the evil. Obama turned our military gay, says Bobby Blanco. I got out in 2009, thank God. Yeah, he totally did. Because Clinton allowed gays in the military, but said, don't ask, don't tell. Before that, we didn't let them in. You couldn't do that. And then Clinton's all, oh, well, don't ask, don't tell, because Clinton was also pro-gay. He was not for the people, he was for the degeneracy. Clinton, the liar, another liar.
It's a lack of accountability in society. They've taught children and us to like avoid accountability at all costs, just like Joe. Like,
yeah,
I get it. Like we wanted a black president, but he just didn't do a good job.
Yeah,
take the accountability, be done with it. It's not like we hate the guy. It's just like, he did his best, just like Trump. I have my bickers with Trump. Like he changed the tax code to where like everyone used to be able to long form 1099.
Okay.
But then he changed the tax code to where like W-2 is separate and 1099 separate. You can't long form. Everyone can't long form, only 1099.
Oh, and that was Trump. Was Trump's doing, or was that IRS independent of Trump, or was it a law that he signed? What was that?
Don't quote me on all that. I just kind of, I think what I got out of it was that they were bitching at him about how he uses tax code loopholes, which everyone can.
Yeah.
And so what he did, like, okay, you all want to bitch about it, I'll change it.
Kids.
Only 1099 can do this now. Because that's how I used to do my taxes before, because I've always 1099. And then when they changed that, it's like, it's all right. It's whatever. If you want to go work for somebody, that's your own deal. You pay your taxes. Where I don't do it that way. I'm 1099. I create the money. I don't pay taxes. That's
1099 is kind of like independent contractor?
Right, yeah. You get paid cash, and then you pay your taxes quarterly
afterwards.
And this and that.
Okay, yeah.
Right, but you're creating the money. He who creates the money won't be taxed. That's why people are like, tax the rich, tax the rich. It's impossible.
Yeah, because you're creating value. That's what you mean by creating money. Right.
Every time they add in tax, like my rental stuff, like, oh, we're going to charge you guys 10% more for blah, blah, blah. All I'm going to do is pass that tax on to my renter. Why am I going to pay that?
Right.
I'm creating the money. It just gets passed down when they're like, oh, we're going to tax the rich. We're going to give them an extra 10% on their earnings. All we're going to do is raise the price of everything by 10% and make you pay for it.
Yeah. As if the government is better, it spends the money more wisely, that they arguably, some people call it steal, take other people's money and use it more wisely. Yeah, right. They don't have you seen government workers lately?
Right.
Well, or ever?
Give people money.
Yeah.
We used to have a guy that came by the shop, and he was a bum, and he'd work, and he got disability also because he was crazy, and he would just go spend that money on hookers and drugs.
Wow.
And that's my tax dollar. Like, why am I going to pay the government taxes for this? And so that's why I'm like strictly believe in like working for yourself, 1099, because I don't want to pay taxes to the government.
Yeah.
I will do anything to avoid paying taxes to the government.
Yeah, I mean,
They're not going to.
the government doesn't. What can you name one good thing that the government does?
Screw things up. They're pretty good at that.
Yeah, because they're not doing their job. They're not enforcing the border. That's one of the main things. They're not doing tariffs on trade to make money from all these imports.
Right.
And they're making it harder for business freedom. They're making business freedom harder. I mean, they're imposing on businesses freedom to do business. They are imposing on people's freedoms of speech and carrying guns. That was another issue with Obama. He wanted to blame the guns and not the people. And he wanted to divide the races and pretend that this racism was real against blacks.
It's not.
Yeah.
All in there.
Trump got rid of a lot of that. He brought in some boomer common sense. It was very refreshing.
Right. Well, instead of just like beating around the bush and lying, he just got to the point and straightforward.
Right.
That's what I like. And then, like, it's so crazy when I hear everyone complain about that. Like, everyone acts like they want to be told or heard or hear what they need to be told.
Yeah.
And whenever you tell them the truth, they don't like it.
Yeah. That's so true, man. He was just a man. He was manly. He just spoke the truth as he saw it, and that was so refreshing. And even if you disagreed with him on things, you knew what he was thinking because he said what he was thinking.
Right. There was no, like, okay, let's decipher what was said.
Right.
What was being said.
What a mess.
Right on. I'll let you get going.
Thank you, Manuel in California. Take care.
You too.
Bye. Whew. Okay. Let me cover this before I get back to calls. You can call in 1-888-775-3773. Remember I covered this Shmaxine injury months ago? It was like a relatively unremarkable story. Probably many of you do not remember it. But on October 11th, 2023 AD, at the end of the show, I did a quick little 6-7 minute segment talking about this alleged Shmaxine injury. I'm still in Nick's word. Because I don't know if it's real or not. I don't know if this is a real story. This woman on Twitter, this gal on Twitter, probably not a Christian, doesn't act very Christian, I'll tell you that much. Tabitha Goldbaum gal. She stated, and I found it a remarkable situation, so I have pictures of this Tabitha Hassan. This gal showed this before and after picture, and I'm censoring a whole lot of it because she's making these claims that I cannot confirm, and we all know that the evil platforms don't like such claims being made. I'm speaking in they don't like conservatives and independent thinkers and others to make claims that they disavow. So I disavow it for the sake of my channels, right? And I think I made that obvious in the other segment that I did on this. This is October 8th, 2023. This woman tweeted this out on October 11th. I covered it. Before the Moderna Shmaxine, I had a nice body, she said. Had muscles, worked out 5-6 times a week, weekly hikes, ran, did yoga. I called it yoga. I lost 30 pounds fully. And so since the two Shmaxines in my face, you can definitely see the difference. Same smile, but my face is caved in now, she says. And all I did in my segment was agree with her. I described her, you could call it colorfully. I said, oh, she looks so much more decrepit now. I was agreeing with her. She looks different. And I don't know that what she claims is true because she's making claims and I don't know. I don't know her from Eve. I can't gain weight at all. First picture, and she has two pictures side by side. First picture, short hair, 2020. And it's this young gal who looks like she could be like my niece. Relatively young looking, you know. 20s, 30s, you know. And then second pic, beginning of 2022, after those two Shmaxines. And like I said, skin was saggy and just looks like my aunt, an older gal. You know, might be in like an old 30s and a rough living aged 30s, which is what I believe she is. I don't think she's in her 40s yet. She's not even 40 yet. But and it's more of a stark coloring in this picture too. The first picture, it's all kind of softened maybe, but I don't know. She said, please do not get these machines. They are highly dangerous. Exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark. And so she got a whole bunch of attention, and I saw it, and I was like, wow, this is remarkable. I looked into her bio, her purported bio, what she says, what she claims about herself. A mother, a survivor of two Shmaxines. I do not endorse products or merchandise for the Shmaxine injured. My opinions are my own, she says. That's false. Your opinions are not your own. Your opinions are not your own, FYI. But anyway, so I described her, and I said that people in the replies were lying to her, saying, oh, you're still beautiful. And I'm like, no, I wouldn't say that. She's, I would mildly attractive, like my aunt, mildly attractive, my niece, definitely younger, and you can tell. There's more like youthful life and collagen, I guess, is what makes your skin not sag and look old and wrinkled and stuff. But she's going through it, quite apparently. And I gave credence to that. I covered it because it may be true what she's claiming, right? It may be true. It may not be also. And I, of course, said it's very rare because that's what you're supposed to say. It's very rare. I heard that the mainstream media admits, and the mainstream science admits, that very rarely people can get injured or suffer issues from these Shmaxines. This is from the China virus, right? Supposedly. And who knows? Who really knows? I don't know. I'm not going to just take this gal's word for it. Like I said, women lie. People on the internet lie. Not accusing her of lying, although she did lie about me. Or she was mistaken about me. She's just listening to the devil about me. Because she was pretending she and her followers went after Hake in the middle of Hake's show yesterday. Saying what? How's my stream been, guys? Press 1 if it's been great. Press 2 if it's been kind of awful. Press 3 if it's been a little iffy at times. Even just a little bit of buffering here and there. Let me know if it's been a 3. Because I'm not seeing it streaming well on my iPad, but that could be my bad Wi-Fi connection or something. But I was fair. And then I protected myself, quite obviously. I was quite sarcastic about the scared woman-led CDC. I'm like, everyone should get the vaccines, including babies, like the CDC says. Babies, 6 months old, everybody, get it. Delighted to be here, asks, maybe she has a tapeworm. Well, she said that she walks like she has ALS, which is, I think, Lou Gehrig's disease, MS, multiple sclerosis, and something else. And she said I was snide. I was not snide. I'm so nice. But also a little bit more honest than some are used to. And so these people, I don't know if they seemed to think that I was doubting that anybody could ever be injured. When I said that you could be, I said it's very rare. And they're like, it's not rare. Look at this one girl who was in the test, who was 19, who got it for people like you. She didn't get it for people like me. She was part of the testing. This purported gal was part of the testing of the vax, and allegedly, according to this person, I don't know if it's true. Did I get it? I saw a fly right here. I don't think I got it. She cropped out her horns. Fake victim. It's still following you, says Nick. There's a fly in the room. Hake brings flies. I can be like those Africans who can put up with it. You're getting Mike Penced. Yeah, Mike Pence got a fly on him. I forgot where I was, but I said they're lying to her. And part of that is because I have this ongoing theme in my show of this, what Gregatron pointed out, kiss-up culture. This kissing up. Oh, you're still beautiful. Well, maybe she's a kind soul, but there's a definite downgrade, and don't say, hey, you're still beautiful. Unless you really think so, but I'd say she's mildly attractive. Even in her apparent illness. Whatever that illness is. But they're trying to say, oh, Hake, so Hake is saying he wants us to troll her. I said, no, I always say, don't harass her. Don't harass her. Unless you're Brandon M., which I don't think Brandon M. has been able to catch Hake's show lately. Do not harass her, guys and gals. But she quote tweeted some woman who somehow they came across my blog post. Maybe they searched Tabitha Goldbaum on Google and my blog post came up from my thehakereport.com. My blog post from that months old thing. So I didn't sick anybody. I don't think one of you bothered her, but they're all of a sudden bothered and they want to come bother me. And then I reply to them and then I get blocked. We're having a conversation, and then I get blocked. One of them got really dirty and filthy, just vulgar. A male, saying, you're mocking the vaccine injured? I'm like, what are you talking about? And then they show me this one. They show me this date and a link to my blog post, one of them. I'm like, oh, that gal. So I make I clip this segment, and I put it out. I did not call her ugly. Effectively calling her ugly, accusing us of lying to her, calling her beautiful. Effectively calling her ugly. I didn't call her that. That's your mind. And I'm not mocking her appearance. I'm not being snide about it. I'm giving credence to her whole reason for showing the before and after. She showed it because it's a stark difference. Youthful, beautiful, maybe Jewish gal, Tabitha Goldbaum, right? And then older, more decrepit looking, affected physically by something. And it may be that. And I covered it in part because I warn you guys to do what you see. Don't just blindly trust anybody. Not the anti-vaxxers, not the pro-vaxxers. Take care of yourselves. Because this may be true what she's saying, but it may not be. Anyway. So they blocked me. Just aged. But that's in 2 years' time. Nick says she's just aged. And, you know, another quick point. Quick point, and then I'll get to a quick call before the break. Lin Yen Chin. Salute, sir. This victimhood thing, because she's a mother. I don't know if she's married or what. She claimed to be a victim of domestic violence. This is her Twitter profile from back in October when I covered it. She had 5,600 followers, and now she has like almost 10,000 followers. And also from Los Angeles. Hey. And she like offered to be on my show, or other supposed injured people to be on my show. I'm like, I didn't respond to that. I'm like, I don't know if I want to cover that. It's not my shtick. We all know that that happens, and you got to be careful. She claimed to be a victim of DV, domestic violence, and said that her brother was murdered or something like that by gangsters before she got her shots. And she got her shots, I guess, because she thought that it was going to be help people or protect people or something like that. You know, she may not have been such an independent thinker beforehand. I don't know. And who knows what the truth is. But my point, real quick. Watch your attitude about what you got to go through, because your attitude can bring you down. A broken spirit dries the bones, but a cheerful heart is good like a medicine. That's one of the Bible verses that I learned as a kid. My mom made me memorize it on these 3x5 cards. A cheerful heart is good like a medicine, but a broken spirit dries the bones. And so I encourage the ladies, don't identify with your body or your beauty. That was one of my points that I made, and that was one of my motivations, because it was a pretty stark difference. And even the functions, because this gal said she has inflammation in her wrist, it's hard to function and all that. She did it to protect you, Hake. And they assumed that I took the vax. I do not disclose my vax status. It's not your business. And they assumed that I was pro-vax or something like that, that I was doubting the people who say that people get injured from it. I don't believe it, and I don't disbelieve it. It's quite possible. It's not my shtick. It's not what I'm into. But keep a good attitude and a can-do attitude. Don't baby yourself. And don't let other people baby you. She'd rather have these people lie to her than someone tell the truth to her and cover her and give her good press. I was giving her good press. Her whole identity is victimhood. Yeah, that's the woman thing. These gals, they don't belong pushing politics, even to quote unquote protect kids, to protect one another, or medical freedom, all that. They do it wrong. Gals and simps were in my replies and harassing me and inciting harassment on me. I know I'm using woman words, but hey, got to play the game. And then they ended up being the ones who blocked me. Even the guy who got all vulgar with me, he did some vulgar, nasty Photoshop of me. I blocked him. And then I saw the replies, and then I unblocked him and told him I unblocked him. And then he's all, forget you. And she said, waning, I brought up, hey, ladies, and everybody, don't identify with your waning beauty, your waning physical ability. You are not your body. That way you don't get depressed identifying with something that's fleeting. Isn't that a nice message? But she took it wrong and took it as though I'm not truly a supporter of her cause. Because I'm a supporter of the cause of the people who don't want this imposed on people. I don't want it imposed on people. And she's a Trump supporter, by the way. She calls herself MAGA, according to her. So, that's that. Thank you guys for bearing with me through that. One last quick point. Division. These people, I'm their best friend. well, not their best friend, but we should be friends, not devils fighting. Not devils fighting. We're on each other's side, really. Trump supporters, most of us, including the ones who blocked me, skeptical of the establishment narratives for freedom, including so-called medical freedom. But they just want to infight and bash and falsely assume and alienate and pretend like I'm the bad guy for playing too rough, being too honest about. Anyway. Nice. Shout out to the alienated anti-vaxxers. I know we're past the top of the hour, but I did promise to get to a call before the break. Joel Friday TV is coming up. Joel, are you scheduled? Mark in Los Angeles is on the line. Mark, thanks for calling and holding there. How you doing?
Oh, good. Thanks for taking the call. First of all, I hate to do this. You know, when you have Fannie Willis's illegitimate son from Phoenix on, and you give him 25 minutes to spout his poison,
yeah.
It's hard for me to counter it because I got to wait 30 minutes to get on. Not your fault, but you give that clown way too much time. It's your show, and I'm not telling you how to run it. But that's, what do they call it, corrective criticism or whatever. The guy's a liar. He lied about the stock market. Trump said the only reason the stock market is holding on is because they're anticipating a Trump victory in November.
Yeah, now, and you know what? The stock market is not reflective of how people are doing, you know. How people are doing right now. So although the stock market is doing somewhat okay right now, supposedly, it's many people are still spoiled, comfortable slaves, but people don't have their freedom. Their money's not worth anything, hardly, and it's a mess.
Well, I agree, but it's
and there's
still
crime.
It's still a talking point for Satan's children.
Yeah.
You know, they'll come out and say, look how good the stock market is. Let's thank Joe Biden. And the reality is, this is Obama's third term. And Obama, I disagree with you on one small point.
Okay.
To me, Biden is the worst president in my lifetime. And it's only because the devil himself, Obama, is pulling the strings. He's telling he's telling the demented idiot president what to do, and it's to destroy America.
Yeah,
he has nothing. Bidenomics equals inflation. He opened the border. He's breaking our country financially. He's flooding. Well, the blue cities are being flooded by these demons, and it's causing financial problems. So Biden has nothing that he's accomplished on the positive. Nothing. Zippo, zero. And that includes the stock market. It's only because the stock market is waiting for Trump to take power and bring normalcy back. Another lie that the snake from Phoenix told you is that he never said he hated Trump. Play the tape back from last week. He said he hated Trump. He used those very words.
Oh, really?
You corrected him on it. And then he said, well, I just strongly dislike him.
Oh,
he's a snake.
Really?
I mean,
I don't remember.
I do. But he did say that he hated Trump, and that's a fact. So he lies about everything. And I'm not mad at you. You're a good man, but you give the scumbag way, way too much time.
Part of the reason I keep him on is because I want to address things that he says, you know. But I get what you're saying.
You're playing into his propaganda.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't believe that. I don't believe that anybody who is a listener on my show who doesn't already believe his lies is falling for his lies. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you have to. I would say that you should try to counter them.
That's what I was doing. Although I admit that I went too long, probably quite probably. If it goes 20 minutes, however long, that's too long. But part of the reason that I keep them on is that I can counter them. I don't believe it. I don't understand or believe in this stock market stuff.
Well, no, but it's a talking point. And the point is, it's only holding.
Yeah, and it's a talking point that nobody
really.
really understands. Well, when I say nobody, normies like Hake, and I think that there are other people like me who don't even understand it.
No, I know. But the point is, again, it's a talking point for the left. It's untrue. Now, it's part half-truths. The snake from Phoenix is very big on half-truths. And the thing is, it is true that the stock market's okay temporarily until Trump takes office. And these are the people in the stock market are telling Trump that. So I believe Trump a lot more than Satan from Phoenix.
Yeah.
As far as these trials go, this is the left's way of putting their political opponents in jail, and the scumbag cheers it on. The real crime is Biden and his crime family. Hunter Biden is a criminal who didn't show up when subpoenaed, yet he's not facing jail time. The old man, the stinking rotten president that we have, it's been said that the only reason he wasn't charged in his documents case was because he's an old, feeble-minded man.
Right.
And that's what Herr said, the investigator in Delaware. So he's guilty, but we're not going to try him because he's a feeble-minded man. I've never heard that in the law.
That's wild.
I think what Herr may have been saying was that he couldn't get a fair jury to convict the old devil, and I think that's why the prosecutor, chose not to press charges. That doesn't mean Biden wasn't guilty. It means we have a corrupt judicial legal system which is protecting the old demon. And this is what the far left wants. They want to control the judiciary. They want to control the legislative and the executive branches.
Right.
And the only thing we've got right now is the court, and they can't be trusted. And we've got, a two-man majority in Congress? The only thing that I hope they do, Mike Johnson and company, is stop the aid package as it's written to the Ukraine. Because I think I mentioned this a couple of days ago on your show. There's a poison pill in there that will not allow Trump, hopefully be our president, to stop that thievery of our money.
Yeah.
They could impeach him if he tries. It's unconstitutional and it's illegal, but the left are unconstitutional and they're criminals. And that includes the clown that was on your show for 20 minutes because he supports every evil measure that his fellow half-breed put on this country. I'm talking about Obama. See, half-breeds are the biggest haters of whites, and both of these two clowns are proof of that. And
that sounds like it would be kind of. I don't know if I will, just for the sake of my channel, disavow that statement, man, and only because it sounds so nasty.
I know, but they are nasty.
But you're being nasty back at them.
Well, they're doing nasty things.
I know they're doing nasty things, but that doesn't mean that you be nasty back at them. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, I guess so. But
this half-breed stuff, that's not a way to treat these people. I get what you're saying. I get that a whole lot of these mixed people get the most anti-white. Yeah, I know that. But you talking this way with such vitriol, it's you're being two devils fighting. You're not fighting them with light.
You have to remember there is a war on whites.
I know that. That's not a reason.
Slow motion war.
Right, but that's not. It's a spiritual war, and you're falling for the devil spirit. You're falling into the anger. You're getting overcome with evil. You're not overcoming evil with good.
Well, it's more than spiritual because it's actually physical.
I know. The spiritual brings the physical, but the spiritual is more important than the physical. If you abandon the spirit of God to try to attack these people with the spirit of the devil, which is anger and vitriol, then. And I don't mind a little half-breed word here and there, but you're clearly malicious, man, towards these people, and that's not right. That's not good for you.
Well, look what they're doing to us.
I know, but it's look at you, because we all know that they're doing evil, but we have to be good.
Well, I respect that, but I got to tell you this.
Okay.
We're not going to pray our way out of this. We're not going to pray our way out of our genocide.
But if you pray without
It's not gonna
ceasing,
happen.
if you pray without ceasing, you'll have the good sense to respond
And
wisely.
I do.
But you're not
but
responding with good sense. You're responding with malice, with fear. You admitted, did you not admit on the American Anchor Baby months back that you're afraid about what's happening to the country?
Well, sure. Who wouldn't be? But you're not going to pray your way out of this.
Not a child of God would not be afraid.
Well, short of taking up arms, what can I do? What can we do? Pray?
No. We're talking about fear and anger, not talking about prayer. You're giving me a false dilemma as though we just roll over and be nice and sit down and pray.
We're under attack. No, but we are under attack. That's not a false dilemma.
I know we're on the same page about that. But my point is
what's
about.
The solution?
Well, part of the solution is overcoming evil with good, and you're not overcoming evil with good.
How do you do that?
Not giving in to the devil in you that's being tempted by the devil in them.
So that's not an answer. What do we do to stop?
It is an answer.
No, but how is that going to stop the black revolution, the black on white war that we see where whites are the victim?
That's not that? The answer is that's not your concern. That's not up to you.
Well, I don't want to be the next victim. Do you?
No, but you're more liable to be the next victim because you'll fall into a pit of anger and fear. Your role on earth is not to stop the destruction of the whites, unless God says it is, but it doesn't seem like that. Your first role is to seek first the kingdom of God, right? As a Christian?
Yes.
And how is that? How are you being an example of the kingdom of God if you're falling into this anger and darkness towards your enemy instead of loving your enemy?
Well, the thing is, anger is. I know you guys like to talk about this.
No. But go ahead.
Okay, anger is a deflect. When you bring up you're just angry and you should be ignored. I know you didn't say that, but that's basically what you mean.
No, it isn't.
Anger is part of the human makeup. There isn't one person on earth who doesn't get angry. You could say you don't, but nobody's going to believe you. Everybody has anger because it's part of human nature. And when you're
is human nature good or evil?
It could be both. Human nature could be good, and human nature encompasses anger. And ask anybody. I mean, that's a ridiculous. I'm not saying you're ridiculous, but it's a ridiculous notion to say, well, you're angry, so you should be ignored. You're angry, so you're not going to heaven. You're angry, let the blacks burn America down, but if you're angry about it, you're the bad guy.
You don't have a choice but for the blacks to do what they're going to do. You can't stop them.
Well, I know that, but
so then you being angry about that is no solution.
Well, let me tell you.
And you calling them half-breeds is no solution.
Well, that's what they are.
I know, but you're saying it. I didn't say it was. I said it was said with malice and derision, which you don't say stuff out of malice and derision. As a Christian,
you
right?
could choose to take it that way, but
I'm not talking about taking it that way. It's clear that are you pretending that you don't have malice and derision when you're saying these things?
Well,
maliciously?
I would say that anger is a response.
No.
To evil.
Do you have malice and derision? Do you have malice and derision when you're calling them half-breed?
I don't. I'm just calling them what they are.
No.
Mulattoes sound better. It's just a word game.
No, but it's not just a word game because there's emotion behind it with feeling. It's clear that you're following in the footsteps of them.
No, not at all.
You are. They're hating you and you're hating them back.
Well, yeah, I won't deny that.
So then there's no light in that.
A right and a wrong.
How does that make you better than the pagans?
I don't know about the pagans. I can't.
Didn't Jesus say, if you only love those who love you, you're no different from the pagans?
Well, I'm not a pagan as far as that goes.
Right, you're not a pagan, but you're no better than the pagans.
Well, I mean, that's your opinion. The problem is with that.
It's not my opinion. That's Jesus' statement.
Why? Well, Jesus didn't call me a pagan.
I didn't say he did. He said that you're no better than the pagans if you only love those who love you.
Well, I love my race. I love my nation. And if that's a sin, I'm sorry.
No, that's fine.
If
you really did love them, then you would also love your enemy.
Well, what do you do with your enemy? If he's your enemy, you catch him and he's killed people, you put him
whatever
to death,
you do,
right?
whatever you do should be led by the Spirit of God.
Okay, so when we put people to death for crimes that they've committed,
right,
is God going to condemn those who put the criminal to death?
No.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay,
but the people who put the criminals to death are wielding the sword of justice, and you're wielding the sword not of justice but of malice. And
well, I haven't put anybody to death.
Spiritually, you are. Spiritually, you are answerable before the Sanhedrin because you're angry at your brother.
Well, if they're doing
that's
evil,
from the Bible. It's from Jesus.
Pardon me?
I said that's from the Bible. It's from Jesus. And I never made the claim that I don't have any anger or anything. I'm just saying we're supposed to sharpen one another as Christians. You claim to be a Christian. And,
I am.
And you condemn Joe for being a snake and having Satan in him.
Well, he's a liar.
Right.
I've never said I hated him, though.
Right, but you clearly do hate him. And
well, says you.
Well, you don't hate him?
Well, I dislike him. How's that? The way he described his hatred for Trump, he turned it around on you and said, no, I just strongly dislike him. And you accepted it, which is okay. It's your show.
I don't accept that. I know that he hates him. He's not a loving person. He hates JLP. He hates Hake. He's an emotional person.
Yeah, I know.
He's an intellectual.
No, I wouldn't give him that much credit.
Intellectual is not credit.
Anybody that lies.
I didn't say he's intelligent. I said he's an intellectual.
Well, tell me the difference. I don't get it.
Okay, I got this from JLP. An intellectual accepts or rejects things, ideas, statements, stuff. An intelligent person neither accepts nor rejects.
Well, I never heard that.
And so an intellectual is argumentative or overly agreeing or in their imaginations and mind and thoughts and misapplying logic and misapplying facts, bringing in facts that aren't pertinent. Those are intellectuals. An intelligent person is a man like Chad O. Jackson. I don't know if you're familiar with Chad O. Jackson. He's this black guy of all people. I brought up a black guy. I know. Sue me. But he's this black guy who's in Uncle Tom 2, and he's helping make Uncle Tom 3. And he is just even keel, the pertinent truth about how MLK was basically a communist atheist. Right. And not for what's right, and civil rights was a scam. That's an intelligent person.
Okay, are there any good intellectuals anywhere on earth?
No, there are intellectuals who are some are nicer and more fair-minded, I guess, sometimes than others. But I don't know about a good intellectual. People should be. It's better to be intelligent than intellectual.
Well, this black guy that you just mentioned.
Yeah, Chad O. Jackson.
Yeah, is he an intellectual?
I don't think of him as an intellectual. He may be, but I've never seen it. I've seen him be intelligent. Have not seen him be intellectual.
Well, okay, I'll buy that.
Yeah.
But when you call Fannie Willis's son from Phoenix, when you call him an intellectual, that is actually a compliment that he's not worthy of.
No, it's not. I really don't mean it as a compliment. I know that, and I know that sometimes it is used as a compliment, but I'm saying it in a way that I see to be accurate to describe how this guy is in his head, trying to catch JLP in
Yeah.
in minor falsehoods or minor inaccuracies, and
Exactly.
and missing the whole point.
And
Intellectuals miss the point.
Well, he gives you half truths,
Right.
And really, honestly, I'll tell you, Hake,
Selective
I
facts.
I hate to even talk about this clown. I really do. I hate to waste time on him because
But
he's not worthy of it.
There's a love-hate relationship with it because you do it almost every time you call in.
Well, not the last couple times.
Okay.
But this call that he gave today was so ridiculous, I had to respond. Now he
Right.
gives you half truths, and you don't push back. And
Part of it is I just roll my eyes. I'm tired of fighting. So I'm a beta like you, Mark. Sometimes I just get tired of fighting. And some stuff I just don't know, don't care. He's gonna say whatever he says about Trump, and it's irrelevant because he's just popping off at the mouth, and it has no consequence into reality.
Okay, let me leave you with this.
Okay.
Any person, white or black or whatever, that hates Trump, if you scratch the surface, they're white haters as well. And I hope some of these people that make comments when I call your show, I hope they respond to that. And this really is my last point. Ash, what's her name? The lady in the Super Bowl that's girlfriend, Taylor Swift.
Uh-huh.
I said on your show a couple weeks ago that she was financed by Soros, and some bozo in the comment section claimed that there was no fact on that. On Benny, what's his name?
Because somebody in my super chats, because she's made so much money off of her pop hits and pop country hits too. But anyway, go ahead.
He bought the rights to all of her music, which made her a millionaire.
I thought it was some other Jewish guy. And
no, Soros, from what I saw on
maybe
the Benny show. You know the Benny show, the conservative guy.
Well, I don't want to promote other stuff.
I know. I'm just giving you the source, though. He actually showed where Soros bought the rights to all of her music, which made her rich. And
but she was rich before. When was this?
I don't know when. He has the details.
Because was it 10, 15 years ago? Because she was making pop hits. She's a pop hit princess.
Sure, but he bought the rights to all of her songs, which made her even richer.
Okay.
And she's left-wing. She was never political before.
I think that some other Jewish guy bought her stuff out from under her, and she didn't really necessarily make money from it, and she didn't have the... Well, whatever. But...
she even admits in the clip that he played that Soros bought her music. She doesn't deny it, and she does not condemn him. She's just as evil as he is. And... he's a liberal and influenced by Soros. One last thing.
Scooter Braun.
Pardon me?
Scooter Braun is the Jewish guy who bought a bunch of her stuff, and she was not happy about that.
Okay. I thought they said on the show.
She bought it, or he bought it from the record company that owned her stuff, and didn't give her a chance. And I don't know. I don't keep up with it. I don't care.
So she was influenced by the left.
Oh, that's for sure. She's in the entertainment world. That's a very liberal world.
Well, the country music people were a little different, though. Usually, they're not as liberal as the rest of Hollywood.
It's getting more corrupt, though. Mark my words.
It is.
Yep.
It is. Last thing, there was a murder over the weekend in New York City. A Negro speeding his car down the street, killed two girls. I don't know what race they were. They looked to be Hispanic or Arabic.
Was he drunk?
No, he was just doing it because he loved.
Did he
speeding.
purposely? Okay, so he didn't.
Well, no.
He didn't purposely run them down, but he was speeding recklessly, and so that could be counted as murder because you're doing a felony already or something like that.
Third degree, and he's already been charged. So listen to this, and I'll end it here. He went before a black judge, a woman in New York, and for 2 murders, he got house arrest and probation. Yeah, that's the type of justice that will come in this country if they stack the Supreme Court and these leftists are able to cram the court with other leftists.
Yeah, I mean that's the world we're living in. That's why I told Joe that the justice system, I don't believe in the justice system. He called that un-American, but it's quite clear they selectively enforce the laws and the punishments. Thank you, Mark in Los Angeles. Take care, man.
God bless. Bye.
You too. Bye. John in Kentucky is on the line. I know that we've blown through the break. I'll get to the music sometime. John in Kentucky. Kentucky John, you're live.
Man, I wanted to talk to Mark, man.
Oh.
I had questions, man. I had questions.
Rattle off your questions.
Well, I just want to know why he lets the topic of black people consume his entire mind. And what does he want done about it? Because it is what it is now. So
Yeah.
does he spend his day, every day, just calling and complaining about blacks? Like, I don't see the point in it.
Well, I mean, he talks about whites who are white haters, and he talks about probably some Jewish people too, Soros. But yeah, I mean, there's a whole lot of black crime, but it's not right. It's not good for any person, no matter what the blacks are doing, to get inwardly troubled by the hell on the outside.
But, hey, you know what, man?
Yeah.
All the problems that go on in not only the United States but the world, I don't pinpoint white people. You know,
Nice.
You guys pinpoint us. Like, I honestly clearly look at every situation and point the blame where it's supposed to go.
Right.
I don't have, like, I don't just do like y'all do every single day. Black this, black that, black this. You wouldn't have a show if you couldn't say the word black. You wouldn't even have a show. You know that?
Shout out to the blacks. Thank you, blacks. Very entertaining. Help
You're
my
welcome.
show. Yeah. But
Give us some reparations then for that.
no, your reparations is my attention.
Or whatever.
Because reparations, come on, that doesn't even make sense. But
Man, I wanted to talk to Mark, man. You know how Mark, like, you can ask him one question, he'll get fired up and act like a little teenage kid. I wanted to hear that so bad. That's why I was calling in.
but
I
that's
heard
not
him
good.
complain.
You don't want to, like, this is partly what I was talking about. Like, you don't want to provoke somebody and watch them pop off and act out.
That's what your job and Jesse's job is. You guys troll.
No, this is
And
my
I was gonna
point. Like,
troll
you are so sensitive to the black issue. You think that we talk about it all the time, and honestly, I don't. I talked about that woman. I talked about the anti-vaxxers. I talk about the flat earthers. You know,
I just tuned in.
Yeah,
I just tuned in.
but you know me. I talk about all kinds of people and stuff. And blacks
Yeah,
are
but-
entertaining.
but
They do a lot of things. Some okay, a whole lot not great.
I was just about to say that. Mark is entertaining. That's why I wanted to see
nice. Yeah.
if I ask him one question, would he just go crazy?
Isn't it kind of refreshing, though, to hear a white man speak his mind, even if he has malice in it? Isn't it just like nice to hear a man speak
man,
what he
I could care
feels?
less. I could care less, man. I don't look up to y'all like y'all the
No, I'm not
top
saying
standard.
look up to us, but isn't it obnoxious seeing people tiptoe and kiss up?
I mean, people can be honest. People can be honest.
Yeah, it's better
if
to
they
be-
do it in a certain way.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see him as necessarily honest, but it's just I don't see him as dishonest. I just see him as
Oh, yeah, he is
angry.
dishonest.
He's angry. Who, Mark? Dishonest? What's dishonest about
I
Mark?
think people's bias can make them dishonest because
Oh,
they'll go against the truth and I'm trying to articulate it right.
no,
They'll go.
I'm hearing it.
Oh shit, I can't do it. I don't know.
No, I'm with
But,
you. I'm with you on that. People's hang-ups, because he has a hang-up that's an anger about a situation, and that can make him not want to look at or see or acknowledge things about himself and other things like that.
Hey, and also I was going to ask him a simple question because you know how he always talks about white people having a higher IQ.
Oh,
You can answer this question. You can answer this question because I asked you before. What color is your skin?
It is white. There is some pink in there, I admit. Yellow,
Dumb.
orange, brownish, tan, peach, greenish.
So who's really
Bluish.
the colored person, Hake? You.
Me.
You just named about 10 colors.
Yeah.
Just named about 10 colors. So really, you're the colored person. We're just brown.
No, you're
I'm
not
black.
just. No, well, you're black, but
It's brown.
is Hispanic.
No. We're brown. We're brown. I'm not black.
Well,
We're brown.
color-wise, yeah, but when we're talking about the race, it's the black race. It's nothing wrong with black. Black is cool.
Yeah, man.
But these-
I just
but
want to show
the-
y'all how
but-
stupid white people can be to think their skin is white.
Oh no,
Like, that's dumb.
but we're not thinking that. You really think that we think that?
Yeah.
No,
For
then
sure.
how come I went for the peach crayon when I was in kindergarten?
Well,
You think
well,
you're teaching
your
me
answer should
something
be-
that I already knew in kindergarten. What?
Your answer should have been pink. I'm a pink guy.
Peach. No, I said peach, not
no,
pig.
pink.
No.
Like a pig. You have the same color skin as a pig. Oh my goodness, man! You immature, Hake.
Wait,
That man
you call me
immature.
pink like a pig, and I snort like a pig, and you
Yeah,
call me
hey,
immature?
It is what it is. Hey, man, I'm calling back tomorrow with Mark on the phone. I just want to ask him a question. I'm not gonna be like mean or anything like that. I just want to see how he responds to a black man asking him questions.
All right.
That's it.
Well, good to hear from you, John, in Kentucky.
All
Take
right.
care. All right. Bye.
Yep.
Aaron of Aaron C is on the line here. Oops. Oh, I hung up on Jaime. Call back, Jaime. Of Aaron C. Aaron in Utah. What's up, man?
I don't really have much. I was just hopping on to try to counter. Is that a thing we can do on this show? Is hop on to try
Well,
to
if somebody
counteract
said
another
a statement,
caller, or-
sometimes as the spirit leads, I may go into that a little bit. Yeah.
Oh, okay, because I was just gonna just deal with that last caller. I mean, pretty much that mentality that he has is pretty much, I would say, the average mentality of the average American black. They simply just expect you to just kind of bow down and, try to, they want you to be schooled by them, on some of these points that make no sense. And he was mentioning reparations, and it's like, dude, you already got your reparations.
I know.
You're good.
And there was nothing to
I'm tired of
repair.
hearing
There was
that
nothing
one.
to repair. It was
Well,
not
the
this.
thing is,
In my
if you
opinion,
look at
there
the
was nothing to
welfare
repair.
breakdown, if you look at the welfare state, if you look at how much money disproportionately, I mean, I've lived in several major cities, and one comes to mind in particular, especially Baltimore. If you drive through the hood during the middle of the day, especially on a summer day, everyone's out chilling on that stoop. I mean, we're talking, about cities where like half the people aren't even working, but they're somehow being sustained. And it's like, dude, you get to live in this paradise. Even our country's poorest people are the world's richest poor people. And reparations.
They live better than kings.
I feel like they live better than me, Hake, personally.
Yeah.
I mean, I got to
On a
work
physical
every day
level,
to get-
spiritually, they're miserable and they cannot appreciate and enjoy it. But
That's
also,
true, but I mean-
have you seen? I feel like I've seen this like chart or table showing the net cost of a black is something like $750,000 to the society, whereas the net benefit of a white contribution of a white is like $250,000, something like that, or 750,000. I don't know. You know how people produce value or drain value on society?
Yeah.
Are they going to repair us for that? They're not repairing.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Hey, reparations has been paid. And the reason why, again, is because there's an extremely large, in the hood, the average hood cat gets an SSI check. The state that I'm in, it's very, it's pretty white. And you don't run into anyone that's unemployed here. I mean, that's just not a thing. Everybody here is working. It's our mantra. You know what I mean? The beehive state. You are a worker bee.
Right.
The only unemployed people around that might be in my state, of course, are going to be the Native Americans who are truly lazy, who truly just sit back and just watch TV and collect that bread.
And that's so destructive to them. It's no wonder that, man, it's bad.
And here's the
I
breakdown.
had some American Indian neighbors. I've told this story many times. It was two boys, and they were kind of fatter, and they were grown like men, basically. And they were getting the money, right? The Indian money, casino money or something. But then they got kicked out of their tribe, and then they had to go to work. Their lives improved. They started working, and they became, their lives improved. So that welfare stuff is evil.
Dude, Native Americans, I'm telling you, they got it made. I mean, are we not the most generous conquerors, my brother? I mean,
I
they
know.
got it. You know the Palms Casino in Vegas? The Palms Casino in Vegas is owned by a group of 200 Native Americans, a very small tribe.
Yeah.
200 people splitting the money from the Palms Casino.
Right.
That their top 2 floors to rent is the most expensive hotel room in the world. It's $78,000 a night, something like that. And I mean, these people are just caking. But the best way you can break it down, Hake, is you take a state like mine. You look at these, predominantly Caucasian states. We give way more in tax money than we receive. You know what I mean? We contribute to this country, and yeah, I mean that is the reparations. They have to understand that that's it.
Do you think that they were even wronged in the first place by slavery?
Yeah, I'm not, as a nationalist, I'm not one of these people that's just like, oh, they don't deserve nothing. This ain't their country. They need to go back after. I'm definitely not one of those people.
Right.
They unfortunately were taken over here as slaves.
Right.
Man, this country's just as much theirs as it is mine. I'll easily proclaim that. They've been here for a couple hundred years. Yeah. Without a doubt. So I'm not.
But
I'm
how
not
about
on that?
But should they get reparations from slavery? Like is slavery a wrong that they should have gotten reparations for it?
Unless there's like really specific examples that could maybe trace back, but on a whole, I would say no. I mean, but again, I still do try to see things from their point of view. Hake, again, they were enslaved for a while. There's a massive identity issue because they were given our last names, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So there is a struggle there. I would say I can't just ignore it. I got to be fair. I got to observe both sides. But as far as the reparations, but
my thing on their identity issue, your identity is more immediately gotten from your own parents than from your broader race and culture. So if your parents are together and moral, upright people, that's more important to your well-being and your sense of confidence and your ability to succeed in life as a normal human being than identifying with the race. But blacks have forsaken having married fathers and mothers and being true Christians. They're phony Christians. And so they're trying to skip the family thing and go right straight to the race thing as their brotherhood, as their family.
Well, I agree with you that parenting can have a profound effect. However, I couldn't ignore the racial thing 100%. Are you telling me that you don't think it's you think it's just as easy for the average Somali young man coming up, as far as being prideful, et cetera, compared to the average, like, let's say, Norwegian or Japanese person? I mean, coming from a culture that's, achieved a lot, et cetera, you don't think there's a little bit of maybe a challenge there? If I was an Aborigine from Australia, right, I would really struggle because it's like, man, my people have just gotten annihilated. We haven't accomplished anything. I'm not really proud of who I am, and I think that plays a role. And if you look at a lot of pro-black leaders now, especially one in particular named Tariq Nasheed, he's just making a bunch of stuff up. Right. I mean, he's saying that blacks literally invented everything and whites just literally stole it all. We literally just stole that.
That's an example of what I'm talking about. That's an example of what I'm talking about. Identifying with people who were before you, who may or may not have done anything good, and rather than being a responsible, like back in the slavery days, Up From Slavery, the book by Booker T. Washington, he encouraged black Americans to make, men especially, to work, learn skills, make themselves useful in the world so that they could function well and do okay in life. Then you don't necessarily have to look to some effeminate attachment to a racial identity, because that's sort of a woman thing to be all team this or team that. There is some truth to it, and of course different cultures develop better practices for themselves, clearly. But
yeah, I just see it as how it could be a challenge. We all live in the United States now, and it should all just be Team USA. And again, it's just as much their country is mine. Without a doubt, I can say that without hesitation. But they just don't seem to view it that way, and I'm kind of
right. But what does that mean? It's their country as much as yours. What does that mean?
I mean, it's both of our countries. They've been here. I mean, they help contribute to some industries. They helped along the way without a doubt. I mean, and even if they didn't, let's pretend they were just lazy and didn't do nothing. They've still been here for a few hundred years. I would definitely say that qualifies as your country.
I don't see Black Americans, American blacks, as foreigners, although they've devolved into this completely different and more corrupt culture. Yeah. But I don't see them as foreigners that should be kicked out necessarily. If they want to go to Africa, I'm glad if they leave, because they're ingrates, many of them. But
I think if a separation were to occur, it could just happen. We live on a massive landmass here. This landmass is absolutely humongous. So, if anything were to happen, with separation, that there's no need, for them to go back. But there's just something I noticed, man, and that is just that I'm under the understanding now, the impression that they're simply just never going to see.
Yeah, I mean, the devil's busy in their minds. Aaron, it's fun talking with you, man. I appreciate you. I got to run.
Yep, take it easy.
All right, you too. Bye. I had hung up on Jaime in Minnesota here. Jaime, thank you for calling back. What's up?
Hey, how's it going, Hake?
Hey, going well.
Hey, I just had a few comments on Mark and Joe, and it's the anger is blinding them from being able to do what's right.
Yeah.
I got that when Mark was saying, "What are you supposed to do? What are we supposed to do?"
Right.
Well, he can't see what's right in front of him.
Yeah. I was commenting on his spirit, and he was commenting on courses of action that none of us know. It's like he's going into his imagination rather than dealing with the point.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's the same with Joe. Anger's blocking him. His vision.
Yeah.
He can't see
fear
the right
too.
Way. But I noticed, and I think Joe has said this before, that anger's a good thing. Anger's a natural thing, and Mark said that today too. And,
right.
It made me think about how evolution and how it's made its way into Christianity.
Okay.
And it's because I've heard this from other Christians too. Anger helps, or anger. We're supposed to be angry.
Yeah, and, my previous caller had told me in a call like a week or two ago that anger is what drives you to action to defend yourself and stuff like that.
Yeah, that might have helped me learn about this. Is that evolution's made its way into Christianity, because that's not true. God did not make us to be angry.
Explain what you mean by evolution has made its way into Christianity.
Well, they say, that creatures, they started from a thing, and then they evolved to become a bigger thing. And the way that it was decided was if they had a better method of growing or defeating or eating, or
so anger was used. Anger was used in evolution, like the fight or flight response. Is that what?
Right.
But fight or flight response is different from anger.
So if somebody did something out of anger,
yeah,
or one of the monkeys did it out of anger, then they got to survive.
Oh.
And then these things evolved.
Yeah.
And it makes me think that the Christians think that evolution.
That the fact that it exists means it must be evolutionarily beneficial for the human being.
Right.
The fact that that there are so-called gay people means that maybe it was for so we didn't overpopulate or something. I've heard people speculate.
Right, and it's the speculation.
Yeah.
Instead of just believing in the Bible or those basics, those axioms, those truths.
Yeah.
They've heard from other people like Marxists and communists and these other ideas, and added it to Christianity.
Yeah.
And then taught it
Right. Very true. And people have swallowed feminism without knowing it, this fake notion of equality without knowing it, which might have been partly poisoned by some of the founders who said all men are created equal. I don't know if that's meant to be the way that they're using it, but people get into their imaginations about Jesus and call Jesus angry. They think that Jesus was angry like they're angry.
I've heard things like Jesus was the first feminist, or Jesus was
or a socialist,
workers' rights, and this kind of thing. And it sounded so well. Anyways, what I'm saying is the pot has been mixed, the well has been poisoned, and it's time to come out of that. You know, that fake idea of what Christianity is, and the only way people are going to do that is by getting rid of the anger. And Mark sounds like he doesn't
take every thought captive.
Right, but he has to. Otherwise, he's not gonna. Well, I don't know. That's just what I thought of this past week, and with this conversation with Mark.
Yeah, I noticed when I brought that up, he brought up something else, or he brought up what they're doing, but no, it's about you.
And it's never about him.
This is ridiculously churchy, says Arslan Sultanbekov.
That's what I noticed today too. Is he wanted to build an army too? Look at what they're doing. Come on, join. Go get in. They're the same.
Yeah.
Either person that you go with, you pick the wrong choice.
Yep. Jesus was manly, not emotional, angry. You know what I mean? Charlie Church saying when he whipped the money changers, he was happy. I think that might be sarcastic.
When I think about Jesus whipping the money changers, I think about a father disciplining their child for their own good.
Yep.
You know, it says in there in the Bible, fathers don't spare the rod.
These people Christians even, get into their imaginations about overcome anger, and they think that they project all kinds of insane, false dilemmas about anger and about pacifism or passivity, being passive, all kinds of stuff that they're just in their heads. That's called being intellectual and not being calm and seeing the truth. They're rejecting and accepting all kinds of things rather than neither accepting nor rejecting.
Yeah,
and
they're both entertaining, and they really show good examples of what JLP talks about.
Yeah, you know? Very true.
When I listen,
Joe is an example of the blacks we're talking about, but he doesn't see it.
And that's why I enjoy listening to those guys. Is I see what JLP was talking about there. I see that.
Yeah.
So that's all I had to say.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Jaime.
Have a good one.
You too. Bye. My goodness. Let's see if I can squeeze one or two more in here. Alex in California, thank you for calling and holding there. What's up, man?
Hey, man. It's actually
Massachusetts. Alex in Massachusetts, not California.
Yeah, no worries, man.
What's up?
Yeah, dude. That I guess it was a couple callers back now when he made that comment about. Well, first he made that comment about pigs.
John from Kentucky said, "You're pink like a pig, Hake. You're not white. You're not white-skinned."
Yeah, like an animal, I guess.
Mm-hmm. And I went, and he called me, and then he called me immature.
You have to get pulled into that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean it was crazy because I noticed he made the statement. He goes, "Hake, you actually think you're the color white."
Right.
And it dawned on me that's the disconnect. I don't think, perhaps there's a few out there, but quote unquote black people, I feel uncomfortable talking about color at this point, at the stage I'm in my life. But they just won't believe that white people, as they like to call them, do not think of themselves as a color. Now, I know there's a lot of quote-unquote white people, in the past couple of years or so, trying to make some kind of movement out of the defense because they're afraid, trying to assert some kind of color where they didn't have that before. They're just feeling pressured to say, oh, my whiteness or whatever like that is great or something like that, where it's silly. We don't think of ourselves en masse by our color.
Right.
And black people will not understand that, quote-unquote black people, until they become born again and they can see what's going on. They just won't believe it. And that's the disconnect. They simply do not believe that we don't think about color in our identity.
They're projecting the way that they think and imagining that we're thinking that the way that they're thinking, and the way that they also think that we're thinking what they think that we're thinking, which is
it's this crazy game.
Just totally in their imaginations. Yeah. So quite common, by the way, man. I'm going to have to end in about a minute here, so wrap up with your point. Go ahead.
Well, and it's just, I know it's driving a lot of quote-unquote white people crazy because it's like, why won't they believe us? How do we communicate? And it's just, at a certain point, it's just like they can't see. They literally cannot see.
Yeah, it's true. Great call, Alex in Massachusetts, and great point, man. I'm sorry to cut you short. Well, I'm not sorry, but pardon me for cutting you short. I got to go.
I pick a time near the break. That's all right, man. All right, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Take care.
All right.
Bye. Mr. Pink in California wanted to comment on Bukele and crypto. Bukele being the guy from Salvador. Rick in Hampton, Virginia. I cannot get to your calls. And Super Chatters, I cannot get to you. It's Stephen Wiley Wednesday. This is called Why I Rap. Catch Joel Friday next. Bye.
Some people rap about gold. Some rap about cars. Guys rap about girls. Girls rap about boys. Others rapping about money and things they buy.
Sounds kind of muffled, huh?
Some rap about drugs and getting high. Some rap about love and people rap about life. Others rapping confusion and causing strife. Now teachers rap about teaching. Schoolers rap about school. Guys rapping on the corner think they're being cool. But the reason I'm rapping, my purpose in life, is to rap about Jesus Christ. Teenagers rapping on the phone hours at a time. Dad tries to call, but you're tying up the line. Rapping about stuff that really doesn't matter. Cause everything you rap about is only idle chatter. Athletes rapping about playing their sport, like hooping the ball at the basketball court. Singers rap about singing. Sailors rap about the sea. But none of these things are important to me. The reason I'm rapping, my purpose in life, I like to rap about Jesus Christ. I like to rap about Moses, how he parted the sea.
That handyman.
And when the waters came down on the enemy.
The Kofi.
I like to rap about Jonah when he would not get right. He was in the whale's belly 3 days and nights.
So good.
Then he got himself together. He became God's man.
Vin Yen Chin.
The whale put Jonah out on dry land.
40 acres and a mule.
Peter and John at the beautiful gate.
Popcorn stump cake.
They had passed the beggar by hate, but John said wait. They went back and looked the beggar straight in his eyes. They didn't give him a quarter, but they gave him this reply. They said,
Silver and gold have I not.
but rise and walk in Jesus' name, God's only Son. But most of all, I like rapping about Jesus Christ, because it's through His blood that I have eternal life. And the reason I'm rapping, my purpose in life, is to rap about Jesus Christ. I rap on Sunday morning, afternoon, and Sunday night, and all through the week. You
your pick.
Smoking, drinking, lying, whatever your vice, you can be set free through Jesus Christ. And the reason I'm rapping, my purpose in life
Is to rap about
Jesus Christ.
Adios, America. Joel Friday next.